that Kennedy wanted to talk to the Moshe Sherer about the Jews in America. He couldn't believe it. So Moshe Sherer said a lot of other people came and spoke to Kennedy. But by the time he finished with Kennedy, it was a different ballgame. This is a Da'at Torah of Aaron Kotler. He was the speaker of Klal Israel. He spoke to the world about Klal Israel. And the man, you have to understand, he never knew what's going on outside. He had no idea. He never opened the newspaper. He didn't listen to radio. There was no TV. There's no Google like today. There's nothing. He had no idea that the whole mahut, his gadlut was, what is the Torah says about this idea? And it went. If the Torah said it, that's the truth. There's nothing else out there. There's nothing else to speak about. Therefore, whenever the Agudah or the world wanted to talk to somebody in a Jewish community, he was the one to speak to. Number 3, he said they brought from the Sabam Sanabatka a beautiful word. He said Lot, when Lot, the Malachim went to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot was saved. Why was Lot saved? The Chazal tell us, Lot ניצל ממוות כשנהפכה סדום בזכות השתיקה ששתק לאברהם אבינו, כשאמר לשרי אחותי היא, והוא היה יודע ושותק. The reason Lot was saved was because when Abraham Avinu went to Abimelech and he said, she is my sister, Sarah is my sister. Lot was with Abraham Avinu and he knew that Sarah is not the sister of Abraham Avinu. He didn't say anything. Shatak. And the Midrash says, because of that, he was saved from the Sodom and Gomorrah. So Rav Aaron asks, brings from Rav Sabam Salibatka, so why Lot didn't have any other zechuyot? The only zechut that he had was that he stayed quiet. Yad achnasat orchim. When the Malachim came to Sodom and Gomorrah, he brought them in as a guest. He put his life in the middle. Right? Why was saved because of that? So the only reason that the person, what Lot had, was because his asmiyuto. It was part of the personality of Lot to stay quiet. We learned that on Abraham Avinu. So therefore, Sabam Salavatka said, a person could learn as much as you want, could become Baki B'Shas, could learn. If it doesn't become part of you, it didn't accomplish anything. The Torah has to become you. You will become Torah. Your atzmiyuto, your being has to be Torah. In other words, I learned, so you have to understand, I am the Talmud of Rav Aaron Kotler, in a way. Because I'm a Talmud of a person that was a Talmud Mubak of Rav Aaron Kotler. Every one, you people, are the Talmudim of Rav Aaron Kotler. If you learn Torah from me, you are somehow connected to Rav Aaron Kotler. That means the person has to understand. Rav Aaron Kotler always said, when I learned by my Rabbi, he said that you always have to see what would the Torah do in this situation. What would he say? What Rav Aaron Kotler would do in this situation? And then you decide based on that, in that situation. This is the Gadol. It has to become you. In other words, there is no other way around it. It's not that I think this and I think that. See, today, we are living in a world today that Hashem Yerachem, I don't know what's going to happen. I was thinking about it yesterday. It's very, very possible that they're going to come and say, the shurs cannot have mechitza anymore. Because that's against the what's going on in America. You are racist if you have mechitza in the shul. With what's going on, the way people get married, they don't understand the marriage is between a man and a woman. It cannot be any other way. A man and a woman can have children. A man and a woman could be parents. And everything is the same. Therefore, it's very possible that they're going to come and say, the men and women have to sit together. There's no difference between men and women. They might come and say, I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going that way. It's aiming that way. Religious freedom and all that nonsense. They only work only whatever they feel good. If it feels good, they're going to go for it. If it doesn't feel good, they won't go for it. Now, what would the Gedolim and Rav Aaron Kotler would do in this situation? If something like that would happen, if something like this, what's going on in the world today, that people, everything is about good feelings. How am I going to hurt somebody's feelings by saying that? Am I going to? Who is going to get hurt by me saying this or not saying that? Do you have to worry about what people are going to feel? Is that the right Ashkafat Torah? Is that the way that the Rav should feel? That is this right thing to say, not right thing to say? Is this something that I need to worry about? That's not what Rav Aaron Kotler would do. You have to say Emet la'amito. You have to say what's true. The truth is that this is against halacha. There are things that are going on around us, it's against halacha. And there is no another way around it. And all these things, they come out with the ideas, maybe this, maybe that, maybe we should worry about that, maybe they are miskenim, not miskenim. Whatever all these are, that's against halacha. Therefore, if you believe in Rav Aaron Kotler's Ashkafa, that's Rav Aaron Kotler's Ashkafa. You have to have, the Torah has to be part of you. The Torah has to be part of your mahut. It has to be part of your personality. It can't be, I'm going to see what he says. I'm going to look at what he says. It's you. That's the way you operate. There is no other way around it. That's the Gadlut. That was what Rav Aaron Kotler told us. When Rav Aaron came to America, he wasn't supposed to come to America right away. He was supposed to go to Israel. When the World War II broke out, he was the Rosh Yeshiva Klosk, Rabbi Zalman Meltzer, which was one of the Gedolim Ador, was his father-in-law. He went to Israel, opened the Yeshiva Etz Chaim, and he asked Rav Aaron to join him to Israel. He wasn't sure where to go. He did, that's the first time, by the way, you see in the Sifrei Gedolim Ador, that they throw Gura LaGura. He threw Gura LaGura, and he asked from the Torah, where should he go? There was a famous pasuk that they say that on the Torah, that when they opened the Quran, the pasuk came out and said, "Vayomer el Aaron, lech el Moshe midbara." And said, Hashem said to Aaron, which is Rav Aaron Kotler, go to Moshe, is Moshe, Rav Moshe Feinstein, and Midbara. Midbara was America. And that's the way he came to America, because they had the Gura LaGura, and by the way, Rav Aaron has a Mesorah, how to do Gura LaGura. Door LeDor is never is written anywhere. It was Baal Peh, was given to people how to do it. And that's the way they did it. There's a lot of rules and regulations, but based on what Rav Aaron did, that's the way the world, the America changed because of this pasuk. Rav Aaron didn't want to come in. Imagine if Rav Aaron would not be in America. What would America look like today? It would be Midbar Gamur, would be Shamem, would be destroyed, would be nothing in America. Look at the Lakewood Yeshiva today, when he started with 40 Bachurim, 40. 40. Today, Beli Ain Hara, 10,000 people are learning there. It's unbelievable. And the Torah that is established everywhere in the world we go today, there are Talmidim of Rav Aaron Kotler. Rav Aaron met Chafetz Chaim, and Chafetz Chaim told him that the Torah that is going to be in America, and he asked him that he should consider going to America. Rav Hutmer said that the Rav Aaron is the Korban Shelamim, that he gave all he got to Klal Israel. That's the way he was. Yet it was Kodesh HaKodashim. Everything he had, he gave it to Klal Israel. I heard once from somebody that Rav Aaron used to live in Lakewood. Lakewood was a resort city. It was not a city like you see today. It was a resort city. He used to leave Lakewood, go to New York, fundraising for the Shiva the whole week, and he came back on 4th. That's the way it was. And we went through New Jersey Turnpike, right? And he sat in the car and learned the whole day. He said they went to Gevirim, they went to wealthy people for yeshiva. What he did was he just sat there and learned and told them Divrei Torah and he left. He didn't ask for money. He talked to them Halachot Rambam, Halachot Tumat Amet, and no shaykhut to anything. They couldn't even understand. But that's it. All Ma'ut was Torah. He didn't even talk about money to them. When he sat in the car in the back, just learned and learned and learned and learned. That's the way he did it. All his life was learning. Another thing that Rav Aaron had, he cared about Klal Israel. He was like a father of Klal Israel. It wasn't that he just learned and he gave shurim and he didn't care what's going on. So I heard once a beautiful story that was unbelievable. So Rav Aaron, once somebody came to him, he said, I'm going to a pharmacy to buy medicine. So Rav Aaron said, you know, the pharmacy that you're going to, the owner is not Shomer Shabbat. He said, when you go there, when you buy the medicine, don't give him change. Give him $1 or $10, whatever it is, let him give you a change back. Don't give him the money. Don't give him change. Like, 25 cents and small coins. So I couldn't understand. What does it mean by that? What's the difference? Giving coins, dollar, give change, don't get change. What's the big deal? I said, let me explain to you. This man on Shabbat is gonna deposit the money. When he's going to deposit the money, if you give him $1, it's only one time. One doesn't have to take a lot of otsaot. Doesn't have to carry too many coins. When you give him $1 bill, it only has to carry one bill, not too many coins. You mema'et chilul Shabbat. You're reducing chilul Shabbat for this guy if you give him a big piece of paper. But if you give him a lot of coins, then there's a lot of Chilul Shabbat. So who thinks about that? Who thinks about these type of things? Only a person that cares about Klal Israel. There was another story once, somebody was in a hospital, some person that Rav Aaron didn't even know who he was. He was sick, he was from Lakewood, they took him to Boston for treatment. They took him to the hospital, somebody came to Rav Aaron, and he said, listen, this man going there, he cares about kosher, and he wants to be, he doesn't know, those days there was no kosher food ever like today. He doesn't know what's going to be, and doesn't know doctors, doesn't know kosher food, doesn't know anything. Rav Aaron didn't know who this man was from anything, from nowhere. He made phone calls. The first thing happened was, when they told him that this guy is sick, he started crying. The man wasn't his cousin, wasn't his father, wasn't his brother, nothing, nobody. He's nobody to him. Start crying. When he heard he said, what can I do? He made phone calls. He made it in a way that when this fellow got into Boston, people were waiting at the door to take him in. He called all his connections. This is what Maaseh Chesed said yesterday. Chesed does not have to be that I know this guy, I'm going to do chesed to him. Chesed is what you don't know the person, and afilu achi, even so, you go out of your way to do chesed to him. That's what chesed is. Chesed doesn't mean that this is my friend, my cousin, I need to take care of, he's my neighbor. That has nothing to do with chesed, that's to Klal Israel. Everybody is together, Israel, Arabim, Zevazeh. That's what chesed means. And that's what Rav Aaron was. Another thing that Rav Aaron was very big thing in it was minhagim, which is, I learned that many times, that a person has to lishmor al minhagim shela. You have to care about your minhagim. You cannot let go of your minhag. It was once when I was a few weeks ago, I was away. Somebody asked me, he said, is a Moroccan allowed to make a taran nedarim to eat rice on Pesach? That was the question they asked. So what are you talking about? If everybody is going to do a taran nedarim to cancel their minhag, what's going to be? What's going to be minhagim Morocco? What's going to be with everybody's minhagim? You know, there's a beautiful thing. It brings the Bar Shmuel Abuav. It brings a unbelievable minhag. There was a minhag, I don't know if it was Morocco or somewhere else. It said on Tisha B'Av, they took the Sefer Torah out, they put on somebody's back. Somebody bent it, put Sefer Torah on the back, and they read it from his back. That was the minhag. And they came to Rav Shmuel Abuav, they said, can we cancel this minhag? I said, no. Even though that the minhag would be so ridiculous, but they don't just throw away minhagim. The minhag in Morocco was not to eat rice. You cannot do a taran nedarim. That's why this minhag. You gotta keep your minhagim. And Rav Aaron was very big into that. That your minhag, that's a minhag, do it. Keep at it. My rabbi also always told me many times that people, they came find out what your minhag was. Is that your minhag? Keep your minhag. Because you are in America, because you are involved with Ashkenazim, because you are involved with all other things, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep your minhag. Whatever it is, if it was miyased, was established by the Rabbanim of a city, then you got to keep at it. You have to stay with it. There was a teshuvah from Rav Shlomo Kluger in Teshuvah Tov Ta'am V'Dat. It was unbelievable. It's crazy. There was minhag that a kala, a woman that got married, the first day when she went to mikveh, but she came out, they lit candles with the baracha during the week, not Shabbat. During the week, they lit candles with the baracha, and they asked him, he said, "What should we do with this?" He said, "There was minhag. If the fact is that the minhag continued until now, that means it was established by Gedolim. We cannot throw it away. It's such a ridiculous minhag. It's a baracha levatala, but it's a minhag. The minhagim are very important. Rabbi Yechezkel Levenstein used to say that Rav Aaron Kotler was mafteach shel Klal Yisrael. He was the key to Klal Yisrael. You want to get into Klal Yisrael, Rav Aaron Kotler was the one to talk to. There was once somebody told me that Rav Aaron Kotler knew Kol HaTorah Kula Ba'al Peh. By the way, he learned 7 daf of Gemara every day. That was his Seder Alimut. 7 daf of Gemara, which means that he finished Shas once a year. You have to understand, for a person that learns all day, it's not a big deal. But a person that's what he does all day long. He goes around the world, raising money. Those days, you have to understand something about that. Those days, to go to anybody, which Rov America was Mechalelei Shabbat, to ask them to give money for the Shiva, was pulling a teeth. It was not like today. Today, you go to anybody, Baruch Hashem, the lot of Ba'alei Sadaqah that understand the value of Torah they give. Those days was not like that. He used to go from the Sunday, come back Thursday to support the yeshiva. And he learned all day. And he knew it. He mamash knew it. But when you asked him for a telephone number of a person, he didn't know what it was. Somebody once asked him, he said, you know Kol HaTorah Kula. You know every daf of the Gemara. You know every Tosfot. You know every Rashi. Why don't you remember a telephone number of somebody? He said, my brain has certain space. The space, I'm keeping it for Torah. I don't want to put anything else in there. I don't want to take that space for anything that's not important. These are the Gedolei Ador. There was once somebody came to listen. They asked him to come to listen to Rav Aaron Kotler. This man was a very wealthy man. He had a shutaf. He had another partner. They both were Mechalelei Shabbat. They had a very big factory in New York. They came to listen to Rav Aaron Kotler. And he sat, listened to Rav Aaron Kotler, see what he has to say. They wanted him to help the yeshiva. He came, Rav Aaron Kotler stood up to speak. What did he speak about? Didn't say a word about tzedakah. Didn't say a word that you should give money to yeshiva. Didn't say the importance of Lakewood. Didn't say anything. He gave a shiur on Rambam. This man sat there and listened to Rav Aaron Kotler for 1 hour. Then they said to him, did you understand a word he said? He didn't understand a word. Nothing. He came out, he went to his partner. He said, I'm not going to come work on Shabbat anymore. He said, what did Rav Aaron Kotler said? He said, I didn't understand a word he said. I have no idea what he said. But I just look at him. When I look at him, I cannot be Mechalel Shabbat. Impossible to be Mechalel Shabbat. This man went to Eretz Yisrael. All his children are Gedolei Ador today. Only because he just looked at Rav Aaron Kotler and he said, wow, this is what Rav Aaron Kotler, this is what it is. Therefore, Rav Aaron was the one that people looked up to. I want to tell you, he gave a beracha that he used to give to people after Berit Milah. It's the best beracha that you always, when you are a sandak, you sit there and everybody become a baba that day. Because that day everybody sandak become a baba. Everybody comes and gives a beracha. So what beracha you should give? He said like this, the best beracha. יאר אהבה, שאזכה להיות דבוק בתורת השם, ויהיה שמור מרוחות הזמן. He said always, you should give beracha that you should be zocher, that you should be dabuk, should be attached to Torah, and Hashem should save you from all the narishkeit, all the stupidity of the society. That's the beracha he gave. And that's the best beracha you could give to anybody. And give beracha to your children also, the same thing. He also was very, very against reform and conservative. He was the one that brought such an unbelievable awareness about reform and conservative to the world. He made sure everybody understands at that time. And they made sure that even if you don't have a minyan, you are in a place, daven outside, daven in a yard, don't go in, daven b'yechidut. He said, afilu b'ne'ilah shel Yom Kippur. We cannot go into the reform conservative. Stay outside. He was the one that brought this awareness of this to the world. Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, he said that the anhaga of Rav Aaron Kotler was the anhaga like Moshe Rabbeinu in his generation. Is like Moshe Rabbeinu of our time. That's who Rav Aaron Kotler was. So you have to understand chesed, Torah, Gadlut, caring about Klal Israel. There's one thing is all in common. Rav Wadia, which we spoke about the last month, and Rav Aaron, they all Gedolei Ador, they all cared about Klal Israel. What was the key about them? They were the Abba. They were the father of Klal Israel. That was their God. So I want to tell you the word Rav Aaron said about this parasha, which is the beautiful word. So Rav Aaron asked, which is a famous question, when Esav and Yaakov Avinu, they went to Yitzchak, and they asked, Yitzchak was supposed to give them beracha. Yitzchak knew who Esav was, right? The Gemara Chazal tell us, Yitzchak Esav was kofer beikar, was oved avodah zarah, right? How did Yitzchak give him a beracha? So Rav Aaron said, he said, lama zeh, what do I need this bechora? What do I, Esav said, what do I need this? Chazal learned from zeh that Esav became kofer beikar. He became oved avodah zarah. So he said, why did Yitzchak do that? Why gave him the beracha? He said there was a machloket in Shammai between Yitzchak and Rivka. Yitzchak Avinu had a different outlook to this. Rivka Imenu had a different outlook. Yitzchak said, let me give the berachot to Esav. Esav should have all the gashmiot, all the worldly thing in the world, that through that support Yaakov Avinu to learn Torah. That's the idea. Let him have everything. Rivka said, no. Rivka said, I don't want you to be dependent on Esav. I want you to have ruchniot begashmiot. I want you to have everything. So Rav Aaron said there was a machloket. It's like machloket Tanaim ve'Amoraim. That's where Pesach. They said in Shamayim they're pasking like Rivka. They didn't pasking like Esav. Therefore, that's why Rivka pushed Yaakov to go in to get the berachot. He didn't want Esav to have the berachot. But Yaakov, Yitzchak Avinu, felt Esav needs to have berachot. He needs to have all the money in the world. Through the money, he could support is the Yaakov Avinu to learn Torah. But Rivka didn't feel like that. And that's this. I could talk about Rav Aaron for another 2 hours. But he was, you have to understand, he was an Abba of Sheklal Israel. He was somebody that we today, the Torah that is learned in America is because of him, and because of the people like him, and because of them, we are able to have Chadarim. The Torah was Torah. It was his establishment. The Chadarim that they built in America is because of him. And they are all supported them, and Be'ezat Hashem should be zechutot again ba'adenu, and should be zocheh legeulah shelema, and should continue their mesorah. They should continue on their ways, the dorei dorei.